Well, hello YouTube. Welcome to the pond. Welcome to the farm, and welcome to a cool mid-August Michigan day. It's been a rainy day today. Temperatures have been in the mid to low 60s, and I just got done saying to the missus the other day, I'm ready for fall. I'm not quite sure I'm ready for fall. I still like those warm summer days. I like getting into that pond and enjoying the work that we put in. So let me talk about the pond. Let me tell you about things I've learned. Oh man, my eyes have opened up and I've really learned a lot. Came across some really great references and resources and kind of put them together, and I have a new understanding. So let's talk about what we've been accomplishing and then what we've been doing to kind of maintain the work that we've done. You can see right over here, we now have a beach. We have about 22 foot wide beach. And so that beach has two pieces of mat. I don't know the actual term of it, but it's a mat that I got from my friend that does excavating. And it's about 12.5 foot wide. I had them cut two sections at 25 foot long, overlapped them a little bit, so that's where I come up with that 22 foot wide. We left about 5 foot of beach, and you can see that the water is really starting to drop down. So we put about 20 feet of this into the pond. Should have gone a little bit more, but that's okay. Process was pretty simple. I took some video of it. It was pretty simple. It was pretty much, I was able to have the guys dump it in between the garden and the chicken coop. And then I used my front end loader, laid down the mat, kind of overlapped it, dump, 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 rake spread, dump, 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 dump. And it was just go back and forth, back and forth. Once I got to the water, I kind of raked it in for a while. And then finally I just spread the mat down into the pond with my feet, started putting shovels in, got the mat to lay down nice and even, and then just started shoveling it in. I noticed that as if I just threw it in, it would disperse. I don't think that it went floated down into the bottom of the pond or anything, but that was a pretty simple way of spreading it. So that is nice. The missus really likes coming in through that sandy area, and mission accomplished, right? There used to be a bigger pile up on the, let me point at it, used to be a bigger pile up on the shore, and the kids have kind of migrated that down. It's a bit frustrating, but it's expected, absolutely expected. So that is happening. I will probably be patient and wait till next season and then add 2 more sections of that beach area, which would give us, roughly 60 to 65 feet of beach. And I think that would probably be about it. It would give the kids enough room to kind of roam back and forth. But I still have quite a bit of muck that needs to be chewed out of this area here. I have been using my muck bucket, and if you haven't seen that video, I will put that up on the screen somewhere. And that muck bucket, as the water levels have been going down, you can see right along here, there's actually quite a bit of that muck that's exposed. So I've been scooping that up as much as possible, putting it in the front end loader and taking it back to the old potato patch, right? Trying to enrich that soil a little bit. What you see there, mats and screen sand, 10 yards of sand, it was $242 even. So $242 and probably less than a gallon of diesel fuel in a couple hours of my life. It's pretty easy to put in. And so I'm guessing it'll cost a little bit more next year, but for $500 more, I'll be able to finish off that beach. I might bring in another 10 yards of sand just to just kind of heap it up and give the kids more playing area. So pretty reasonable if you're willing to put the effort in, right? I've been working that area going across. Lots of clay showing up. Lots of clay. That side of the pond is a lot more clay. Where you come over to this side of the pond and it seems to be a lot more sand. In my last video I showed, talking a little fast, I don't know when the rain's coming back and the lighting is pretty good. Last video I showed some sand, and there is sand there but still kind of intermingled with that muck, and as that muck digests, there's more and more sand showing up all the time, which is pretty fun to see. What have I learned? Well, if you stuck around this long, you're interested in hearing. So what I learned was herbicides. Flumigard did a great job at eliminating the duckweed and the watermeal. And quite honestly, every once in a while, I still see a couple specks of duckweed. So it's not completely gone. I don't see any watermeal though, but you know, it did a great job at doing that. Now, Flumigard herbicides, it killed off some beneficial bacteria. That's going to happen. Now, the next thing is I removed all vegetation. I pulled all cattails out, cut out the lily pads, and I've been adding dye. This is the second season with dye. And because of that, I'm getting a lot of rot in the pond. Last year I made a video of, I called it like biofilm or something like that. And what I was getting was an oily film to the surface. Well, the water was so loaded with rot because we had so much decomposition happening that the chemical balance was way off. So what I've been using is I've been adding bacteria once a week, and I've been doing that for about 9-10 weeks now. I've been using, it's made by Pond Works, no affiliate, but I will leave a link to them, and I buy the 4-pack of it. It's a bit cheaper, but I add a gallon of Pond Works bacteria to the pond once a week. And then every 4th week, they have a quart of concentrated dye, and I add that dye. And so what that bacteria is doing is that bacteria is working in there with that decomposing muck, and it's basically neutralizing the water. Now I still get some algae, and as the water temperature rises, I do get quite a bit of algae. I do have a lot of sun, which was going to cause that algae. But what I do is I just come along with a pitchfork and I just kind of scoop it up, make a few piles in this spot, a few piles in that spot, and I come along with the tractor every, once a week before I mow and scoop that up. And our algae really hasn't happened much. You can see some, where are you at? You can see some over here. But there's not much. There's not much at all. And so, kids are in here 5-6 days a week. They love the raft. They love that lily pad. They love that beach area. That is now their entry space. I just kind of waded along my future beach area, and it's not measurable by any means. It's not measurable, but I definitely can tell that there is less muck than there was at the beginning of the year. And so, like I said, it's not measurable, but you can walk along there and maybe the muck in spots is only ankle deep, where it was much deeper. And I imagine this water is going to continue to recede a little bit more. And then if it does, I'll be able to do another round of muck bucket, scooping it up. I would love to say that I could do the whole pond. I just don't have the energy. I don't have the time. And it'd be ideal to pump some water out and hire an excavator to come out and scoop. But I just don't want to deal with that big mess. And the kids are loving the pond, and we're able to use it, and I'm able to maintain this area and that area and this area, and that's okay. So sorry you got to look at my face as I tell you stories, but if you're a good listener, I hope that this helps you as you maintain your pond space. Just add bacteria. Keep adding bacteria. Add the aeration, add the dye, and that muck is going to decompose, and it's going to work its way up. I think that added agitation of the kids playing in there, they don't seem to mind it at all. And as they play, they agitate that muck, they get that bacteria, move through it, a little bit of aeration, they're moving the water around, causing that turbulence, and it's really quite helpful. And so I'm a happy guy. And so thanks for joining me, and thanks for rooting me on, guys. I really love seeing ponds of all scale. It's kind of tough to actually manage your own little ecosystem of water, especially when you can't see underneath. It's a little easier sometimes to manage the ecosystem of a garden or a specific part of your lawn. But here, that water goes 12, 13 feet deep, and what all is happening, it's really tough to understand. And so I just keep saying to myself, don't mess up, young blood. Don't mess up. And so this is me rambling on again, but I'm going to keep following this path. I do really appreciate suggestions. I'm not going to follow all of them. And your suggestion, if it works for you, I will definitely look into it and see if it's a possibility with me. But we are in a different climate, and everything's different, right? So I thought I would chime in here and drop this little video. Middle August, pond's doing pretty well, and so we are in our third summer of this adventure. So if you're wondering where did your pond start, I've got a pond playlist, and you can see all the way back to the days where it was grown way up to where it is now. And so I will leave you with this. I would just kind of scan the whole thing, get my face out of it, and that is, we'll scan right on across. Have a good day, guys. Bye.